everyone to our weekly AMAs. So for this week, we have TaskFi. So going to be an interesting one. So TaskFi is a AI generative decentralized work protocol. It enables a whole new level of worker experience and productivity, which is described as a Web2 bridge with an ambition to onboard the next 100 million users to Web3. So we have Zen from TaskFi. Zen, glad to have you. And we also have Harrison, as always, who's going to keep us updated about the current process on product marketing and DAO governance for the Space ID side. And before we do start our weekly AMA, like always, we are running a Galaxy campaign. There's a 200 USDT prize for the oath holders. So make sure that you guys claim your oath after listening in for 20 minutes, and you'll be able to have a chance to win some rewards. And now that that's out of the way, we can start our AMA. So Zen, glad to have you here. Could you please introduce yourself a little bit and TaskFi as well?
Thank you, Austin. Hello, Harrison, as well. Hello, everyone. I'm Zen. People mostly call me Zen. And I'm the head of business development at TaskFi AI. And before that, I was the head of marketing and partnership at GameFi.org. And GameFi.org, no one Game Hub right now, is actually the team behind TaskFi AI. Yeah. So about TaskFi, can I share my screen? I don't think I can do that. So yeah,
that's not possible on this stage, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, that's all right. So about TaskFi, right? So in a nutshell, TaskFi is a decentralized work protocol. It integrates a lot of tools like smart contract, on-chain reputation, generative AI tools, with an aim to create a whole new level of work experience and productivity. So the market we are target is the work market, in particular, the gig economy, aka freelancing. So actually half of the workforce today is doing freelancing, and that is the audience that we want to support right now. So I just gonna give you a few use cases of how can we support them. For example, like the generative AI tools can take on tedious, boring tasks and free the worker up for more creative and satisfying job, right? Decentralization can help record the achievement permanently on blockchains, automate verifications and payment and matchings in a trustless environment for all over the world. So that is about TaskFi. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks. And so, yeah, talking more about TaskFi. So, I'm interested to learn what kind of unique selling points you guys have for TaskFi. What are the value propositions and solutions that you guys are bringing to Web3?
All right. So actually, TaskFi is going to be the first decentralized work protocol ever. So this is a brand new idea. So why do we think of this idea and why we think it's necessary in this kind of work, right? So I need to go a little bit background that. So as I mentioned, we are from GameFi.org teams, right? We was quite big on GameFi, and I must say that during the GameFi trend, we see a lot of people play Axie Infinity, right? And that includes student, salaryman, housewife, anyone. And to be honest, most of them would play Axie Infinity for reward, like a second job, like freelancing. So even though GameFi is not sustainable yet, one thing always work is work to earn, right? So that is the moment that we realize that blockchain technologies can offer several value to the work economy, the gig economy in particular. So the first thing, I think the unique thing is that we can open more accessibility, right? As I mentioned before, like anyone, anywhere from the world, no matter who you are, you can find suitable job, easy or difficult, small or big job, and get payment easily in cryptos. That's gonna take a second, right? It's very cheap. Existing traditional payments is a pain to your wallet, right? A lot of costs, charges, and also microtransactions is not worth it if you want to do small tasks. So it's not just that blockchain can do a lot of things to the freelancing world as well. For example, like you can connect directly with a client who want you to do some tasks without the middleman. You got open more autonomy via smart contract. Everything can do via smart contract quickly without any need of any platform that can cut most of the costs and make the process more difficult. So yeah, that is the big use case of that. So in a nutshell, we think that the future of works is on chain. So that what we're building is a protocol that's going toward that. So I just gonna say you a little bit about the solution of TaskFi, right? So TaskFi is a protocol, right? So it's gonna have different components and building block so that developers can build application on it, and we call these the TaskFi application. So some of the components that TaskFi gonna have is, for example, we're gonna have the identity and profile, which gonna have the user history of interaction of your work experience in one account, and that is the part that we're gonna integrate with Spay ID. So we're gonna talk about that later. So we also have reputation gamifications, which is basically a reputation system where we encourage people to do better work, right? So you got better reputation and you get better job later, and that is basically an incentive for you to perform high quality work. And then we got smart contracts, which of course provide fair compensation, ultimate payment, and we have matching and recommendation. In current Web2 platform, like if you want to hire a job, you have to wait a long time for the process to get the feedback. And this got to be much better when we got blockchain in that with matching and recommendation. And of course, we got generative AI tools to do some of the tedious tasks for the freelancers. And one of the things I think is really important as well, that is lacking in the Web2 space, is that a lot of freelancing, they don't have a careers because they usually did like a few tasks and then they don't have a connection, like someone to build like college, like managers, like someone you can have build a long-term relation and you can build up on your careers. And they like communication in work as well. So that is what we're going to do. We think of creating more workspace communications where freelancing can have effective collaboration, and also they can have relationship with other client, with other people, and beyond their careers. So yeah, as I mentioned, we believe the future of work is on chain. So we're partly contributing to shaping that futures by first reimagine how the freelancer and the client gonna find each other, gonna collaborate, gonna ensure a fair and efficient interaction between them. And in the future, we think of unlock new possibility in the work economy as well. For example, work in the game in the metaverse, something like that. New job in the futures. So yeah, that's basically it. I think a lot of job, but to sum up, we are decentralized work protocol. We want people to find job, freelancer to find job better, interact better without middleman, and with better cost saving and better process, very fast and easy, something like that.
Got it. Thank you, Zen. That sounds very interesting. Thanks for providing a bit more background about what you guys do and what users can do on your platform. I think a crucial part of the discussion also is understanding where Web3 has come since people started to know crypto, also what lies ahead, right? I think it's important to educate the public and demonstrate that Web3 is a new world that they can benefit from, rather than just tradable asset class that makes you a millionaire overnight. I think that's a very exciting part as well. It is a great time to join Web3 and tackle some pain points that plague the industry right now. So I do have a question for both of you, for you, Zen, and Harrison. So starting with you, Zen, what do you personally think the best method is right now for Web3 community building and Web3 marketing? Interested to hear your insights on this.
So me first, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
go ahead.
answer first. Yeah, sure. So I think one thing first, community is so important for Web3. I think this is actually one of the key factors is driving the growth of Web3, right? And that's something that a lot of Web2 projects or Web2 company, traditional one, coming to Web3, they forgot. And that is what many of them failed, even though they may have a lot of money. But they forgot that the key to Web3 is you have got to build the economy, the community besides your product. So about in our experience, because I'm working on GameFi from before as well, like in 2021. Like first we come from zero, and now we got like 1.5 million audience across Twitter's, across Telegram, across Discord. On Twitter we got almost 600,000, and we got 200,000 KYC user as well. So that's a long way. So how we do that is, I think of course there are a lot of methods. You're gonna try to do everything, right? But I would say like something that gonna work throughout all the thing you do is your mindset. That you must think your communities is not like Web2. They are not just someone you sell something to, you talk something to, but they are actually your stakeholders. They are something that gonna be the part of your product, the part of your ecosystem. They're gonna be the one who give you feedback, give you direction, give you a lot of things. So you have to treat them as your stakeholders and let them contribute to you. And by that, you need to recognize the best contributors, right? The one who contribute a lot to your project and reward them accordingly. So that is the way of you treating the best contributors, the community. And you need to have like a lot of engagement with them as well, like back and forth, not just you saying along, but also listen to them and have a conversation with them because they are your stakeholder. So yeah, that's all come from the mindset. And about the marketing itself, I think one thing is you need to have partnership. So I think in all the Web2, partnership may not be that important, but in Web3, I think we still like a very close community in general. So all projects, we kind of like brotherhood. Like there are no competitor. I believe I never met a project that even we have the same sectors. We building the same audience. We never seem like competitor. We are always like doing each other. Like we are in the same Web3 community, trying to build this space bigger and better. So that is something that partnership in this Web3 space is very, I think, very healthy and bring a lot of value as well. That we can build together and work together, something like that. This AMA is something like that, and that's a bad method, I think, versus treating your communities as just stakeholders, giving them the reward, the recognition they deserve if they contribute to you. And on the marketing side, partnership with a lot of good projects that have the same, insight, same goal with you, and continue to build this bigger, better, something like that. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you, Zen. I really liked one of your points, treating the Web3 users, your community, as stakeholders, right? It's a bit of a difference compared to Web2. It's not only trying to sell to your customers, it's also you're listening to their feedback. You're building deep products based on their feedback. So I really like that idea from your side. Thank you, Zen, for that insight. And Harrison, what do you think? The best way to build Web3 communities and Web3 marketing?
Yeah, I agree, Artan Zen. I think that's kind of the main differentiator, especially for a project like Space ID where we're fully DAO governed. So it's really about creating the right community incentives to stimulate your users to not only utilize your platform but also help it grow in the right direction. It's kind of hard to say the best method for a Web3 community because crypto communities can be very different depending on the product you're offering, whether it's a DEX, GameFi application, infrastructure application, or for us, a domain name application. So for us, I think, some of the best ways is just providing the maximum amount of value to users. Hype can take you so far, but at the end of the day, if you want to build something that's long-term focused and sustainable, there needs to be utility behind the products and the ecosystem you're building. So I think if you can convey that to your users and then tie them into the long-term growth of your ecosystem, kind of what Zen and Artem pointed on before, that creates a really nice formula of consistent growth where your users are the ones that have the biggest stake in your success, and you can all kind of build together towards that success. Same from the marketing side. You have to really understand who you're targeting for your marketing. If you're a gaming company, you might be targeting more traditional gamers, more traditional Web2 audience. And then someone like us, like Space ID, of course, we want to target a lot of crypto native users that understand, how to use different blockchains. They understand, the value of bringing a domain name instead of their OX wallet address. But we don't want to overlook the newcomers as well, because those are going to be that next layer, that next swath of growth coming into the ecosystem. So really just conveying the value proposition in an easy to understand manner, lowering that barrier to entry so that it's simple for users of all types to be active and actually, buy assets within your ecosystem, and just simplify the process for everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Harrison. Thanks for your insights. So moving on, also another question for both of you. As an individual user, how can I get involved in your project? So starting with you, Zen. If I'm someone who hasn't used your project yet, how can I get involved? Where can I learn more?
Sure. So as I mentioned before, TaskFi is gonna be a protocol. So as a protocol provide the confidence for all the developer to do the app, and user we interact directly with the app. We call it TaskFi the app, not with the protocol. So so I would tell you some of the app that we having. The first one is we build in-house. It's called Dimensions. It's a community building and user engagement platform that we aim to connect user to Web3 app, game through engaging and creative campaigns. So basically, if you are a users, you can go to website dbition.me and do a lot of pitches and event there in the different interesting campaign, like play a game, discover many projects, try to use some new one. And if you're among the top, or if you're lucky, you can achieve the best reward, easily in stablecoin or NFT or tokens and other rewards. So as projects or builders or communities, you can go to the missions and grow your communities by opening the mission, right? It's really important for you to for the app to have early adopters, right? So you can go to the missions and create a pool and say, hey, people let's join your mission to try your app, right? And I think at the moment, the mission is the only platform that provide a lot of advanced tasks, like even in-app, in-game, or on-chain tasks, because we think that we need to provide a lot of the app to onboard the users. So yeah, that is the first one, the missions. But we're gonna have other the app as well. One of it gonna be something that we're working on right now, like a lot of work. Shout out to my builders at home from GameFi.org team is working on it. It's called work. It's a work marketplace. So basically, as it's called work marketplace. You can be a gig workers and you can find suitable job there, and the employers can connect to reputable freelancers around the world via this work marketplace. And and one thing we're thinking about as well is something like a LinkedIn for Web3, right? Something that you can connect to all people in work aspect and communicate with other people as well. So yeah, that's just a few example of the app that gonna be have in TaskFi and the user can interact with. But as a protocol, we are open to integrate and to have other the app building on TaskFi as well. So the opportunity is a lot. So we can see a lot of new the app in the futures. Yeah.
Great, thanks, and yeah, definitely, guys. Hope you're listening. How you can get started as a user on TaskFi. Harrison, what about Space ID? I know probably everybody is already accustomed and they know about Space ID, but maybe we do have some new users. Where can they start? How can they get involved?
Yeah, for anyone on the fence or any TaskFi users, really easy to get involved in Space ID. The simplest way is to purchase your own domain name, whether you register one directly through Space ID or on any of our secondary markets. This will allow you, to have unlimited access to that domain. It'll be active in the hundreds of applications we've already integrated with, and is a really easy way to bring your identity on chain. Beyond that, since we are now DAO governed, you can also participate in the actual feature of Space ID by using your ID tokens to delegate voting power towards the DAO, or even submit your own proposals. So lots of ways you can get involved, both as an end user and as a contributor.
Definitely, thanks, Harrison. Yeah, thanks for both of your answers. I do believe TaskFi and Space ID can kind of deliver a bread and butter service to crypto newcomers, right? A stepping stone that can play a crucial role in helping people take their first steps in Web3. Now moving on to another interesting topic. So, project milestones, project roadmap, and objectives, right? So, Zen, starting with you for TaskFi, could you please share some top milestones, your roadmap, and objectives that you guys have for the remainder of this year?
Sure. So at the moment, we are really focused on development. Actually, that's the hardest part because, as I mentioned, we gonna be the first decentralized work protocol. There's no protocol like that, no technology like that before. So our R&D teams is working very hard, like in the last 6 months, and now they continue to work hard, and as well with the development teams. So yeah, on the development side first, I think the most important thing to us now. On TaskFi, we are building Provide, and it's gonna integrate with Spare as well. Um, and we got at the end of the years, we want to building on the reputation gamification modules, which is basically a module that allow like a reputation system I mentioned before, that we ranked user based on their reputation, like the good behaviors. So for example, like credit card score, right? You got reputation on chains, which is proof that you are a really good workers. You have worked in this project, and you are really into good person, so and suitable for the job, something like that. And we've also worked on the AI module later this years. Actually, what we aim is we're gonna integrate with a lot of AI tools. So we're not gonna build generative AI ourselves, but rather integrate with other tools. And yeah, that's about TaskFi. As I mentioned before, we are ourselves in-house building 2D app on TaskFi. The first one is the mission, right? And the mission is already launched this month, and we even have a campaign with Spay ID, right? And so it's live, but a lot of features we're still working on. We're gonna have a lot of more creative templates and tool for other projects to have a creative campaign there. So we're still working on, but at the same time, we are focus on the BD for the mission as well. There will be a lot of campaign more, so the user can enjoy more enjoy more campaigns and have a more chance to earn some reward there if they contribute. So yeah, and the last thing is like the work marketplace I mentioned before, right? We are working on it from the start. So I think it's gonna have take us at least 3 more months to have the MVP of that. That gonna include how you list job, how the people, the basic feature first is how you can connect the freelancer um, and the client without anyone middleman, right? So that is kind of first features, and then we're gonna integrate other features like from the TaskFi protocol, like reputations, like AI. Yeah, so that is a lot of productions going on. And on the BD side, on the business development side, is would be main focus on the mission, the app, which is already available right now. And on TaskFi, what we also focus on is getting more people to know about us, because we are building this really hard and it's a really ambitious projects of GameFi OIGs and the company itself. So we want to hear more about people opinion right on we are in a development process, so that we can work on it. As I mentioned before, we contribute community as our stakeholders. So right in development process, we want to hear more about people opinion, like what do you want to see in TaskFi, what do you want us to see on the world marketplace. So when we hear that, we can fix that very easily in their development process. So that's what we want to do at the moment.
Got it, Zen. Thank you. Yeah, excited to hear that you guys are doing a lot this year. That really sounded like a lot. Glad to hear it. Make sure you guys check out the roadmap of TaskFi. And Harrison,
Yeah,
from
very.
go ahead, go ahead. For sure, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, just thank you. It's a really overload work for me and the team.
Yeah, but
But thank you.
definitely glad to hear. Like that was a lot. So, and we're halfway past the year. Still, you guys have a tons of plans for TaskFi. So really excited to hear that. Harrison, for the Space ID side, what would you like our users to know regarding what we have planned for the remainder of this year?
Yeah, so we have a lot going on, both in front of the public and behind the scenes. We've launched our DAO. We've passed over 1 million domain name registrations. Going forward, I'm really excited about the all-encompassing ecosystem we're building towards. We're getting ready to launch our first non-EVM domain name service for Say, which is going to be really great. We're also working towards aggregating a lot more established ecosystems on a variety of chains. This is going to be really important for projects that integrate the Space ID API and SDKs because they won't be limited to just the chains we support. They'll have access to the entire ecosystem based on the top level domains of each chain. So that's going to make it a lot easier for us to work with these projects that demand access to chains outside of just BNB, Arbitrum, and Ethereum. I'm really excited about our DAO. We've seen a lot of really awesome proposals so far, and these are just kind of the first ones. They're all gonna bring value to the community, whether it's through different grants, buyback and burns, which may be passing soon. That proposal um, is essentially using the revenue that we've generated from these registrations of users to go back to our community through buying and burning the ID token and incentivizing integration and growth. So I'm really excited about us going more from just a platform to an all-inclusive ecosystem. It might take more than just the end of the year, but through Q3 and Q4, we have a lot that we're going to be developing and releasing.
Definitely. Thank you, Harrison. Yeah, we do have a lot planned as well. Uh, as you guys can see, we also have .say. Just like Harrison, I'm not sure if you did mention, maybe it skipped through me, but we do have Say coming up. You guys can also see the Say partnerships that we have been involved in right now, and many more to come. Thanks, Harrison. So going back to TaskFi, so Zen, you guys integrated Space ID. So now all our users, no matter if you're holding a .bnb domain or .arb domain, your domain will be shown on the dApp, replacing your traditional wallet address. So let's dive deeper into this integration itself. So Zen, I'm interested to hear why you guys chose to integrate with Space ID and how this fits your roadmap, both in the short term and the long term.
Sure. So yeah, like a few years ago, we already thinking about how important digital identity gonna be with the whole ecosystem of on-chains. Any DApp gonna have digital identity because actually IC Lab, the company behind TaskFi and GameFi, actually also a venture capital. So we are that is one thing we investing a lot since last year as well, because we believe that the on-chain digital economies is developing, and one day it may be even bigger than the traditional economy we're having right now. And one thing for sure need to be there is a digital identity for you to interact with a lot of things, right? So yeah, that's what we think is so important. And actually, most of our products users is from BNB chains, and SPID is, I think, they're the biggest digital identity on BNB chain. So of course, we want to partner with SPID. And about that partnership is for TaskFi, all of our DApp, the Beyond TaskFi, including now the first DApp on Earth missions, gonna integrate into SPID digital identity. So that's happens in a lot of aspects. The first one is the user onboarding, right? It removes the barrier of the user if they already have a SPID identity. They can simply log in, right? They don't need to create a new one. And yeah, that's very good for onboarding users because many actually I would say that many users actually already have a SPID, so it's more convenient for them. And also it's better because like in the futures, right, we think that the ecosystem of Web3 should be like, it's different from Web2 with that any platform they have different identity, different datas, right? So but in Web3 is it possible that users can use one digital identity and visit different platform, and in that way the platform also benefit because they got some of the information that the user allow us to sync. And that is something that we think is very important. So we love to integrate into Space ID so that we can contribute to Space ID ecosystem, and the user can find very convenient to load any the app on TaskFi via Space ID. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Zen. Definitely from the Space ID side, we're really excited to be integrated with you guys and are looking forward to any deeper integrations or partnership, if possible, in the future. So really, really excited about that. Thanks, Zen, for your answer. And I do want to ask another question for the both of you. It's kind of a different topic. But with the current market situation or product itself, I think the world isn't quite fully ready for Web3 yet. As it does, the Web3 industry still has some rough edges, right? But there's still a lot of imagination that we can think about what's going to be prominent in the future. So a specific question for both of you. What do you guys think will be opportunities for real world assets linked to NFTs and the metaverse? So really kind of a different topic. Interested to hear your thoughts specifically on this. Starting with you, Zen. What do you think about this?
Yeah, sure. So I think for NFT, right? I think there are two times NFT can be valuable when it comes to some assets. For example, the first one is it linked to some real world assets that are very valuable. For example, like real estate, something like that. But it's very difficult to link them, right? So this is not possible right now. The second thing is they're linked to a very valuable also assets, but digital assets, like we already seeing, right? GameFi assets like avatar, GameFi weapon, GameFi spaceship, something like that. Actually, in traditional gaming, especially in AI game, a lot of people have spent like a lot of money. You know how many? Like a lot of money on these type weapon, but they don't really own it. If the game shut down, they lose all the assets, and they can't even sell the assets to any others. If someday I don't need it anymore, they just have it there, right, and lose a lot of money. So that is something that really disadvantage in the gaming now. So that is GameFi was born, and that is the solution. Like you can convert all these GameFi assets to NFT and solve that problem. So yeah, that is an example. I think in the future there are more potential for NFT to link with digital assets. For example, like music, right? Music ownerships is also something that really controversy and problematic in the traditional world. So that's something as well. And for example, like content, like a blog or something you create, you can earn that as well by creating it by NFT. You own it and you have 100% control over how you monetize that. Yes, that's my idea. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Zen. Thanks for those insights. Harrison, what do you think? Real world assets. How can this be linked to NFTs? How can this be linked to the metaverse?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see a lot of the first iterations of that here. For example, Louis Vuitton just released one of their bags that's connected directly with an NFT to provide provenance. So there's lots of ways to kind of safely map your physical assets or your real world assets using verifiably unique NFTs as kind of a receipt or a history of the transactions. I think Zen's point about the interoperability of digital assets in the gaming space is also going to be very important. And also being able to link those gaming items with real world items, whether that would be something like an action figure or a toy or a collectible that has some sort of NFC chip or QR code that can also be activated, within these Web3 ecosystems using NFTs. So there's lots of really cool ways that NFTs and real world assets can kind of promulgate together and grow the ecosystem. I think one thing the industry is working on now is again reducing that barrier to entry so that gamers or users that are inclined to utilize digital items but may not know Web3 will have a much easier time. So I think we're going to see that in the collectible and the gaming space first. We're also seeing that in the luxury space. Whether that's fine wines and liquors, luxury items like bags, just providing, a very, very easily traceable line of history for these products. And from there, the sky is kind of the limit. It'll continue to evolve. These different assets can have different uses in metaverses in these gaming ecosystems, and things are just going to become much more interoperable and monetizable.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Harrison, for that feedback. So, pretty much all over for your questions. Thanks to both Harrison and Zen. Do you guys have any closing comments? Anything you think our audience should know that we have not mentioned yet? Feel free to share regarding TaskFi, regarding Space ID, starting with you, Zen.
Yeah, thank you. So I think I don't have any word left. I just say gonna be thank you, Athens and Harrison, for having me on this amazing conversations and a lot of having meeting with BID audience here, many of them. So yeah, I think it's amazing opportunities, and I hope that you also believe in the same belief that we have. That I think the potentials of work gonna be on chains, and we're gonna have a lot of benefit of blockchains toward this section. And if you believe the same way, you can also join our community of TaskFi and figure out what we're building. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Harrison, want to go ahead and share any closing thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again, Artan, always for hosting. Thank you so much, Zen, for joining and giving us your insight. I'm really excited to see how domain names and identities will play a role in verifying different users and their skills through TaskFi. Again, for all the users out there, follow us on Space ID Protocol if you're not already. Get ready for our Say testnet domain releases. Lots of really exciting stuff coming up, and looking forward to continuing to serve the community.
Definitely. Appreciate both of you joining. Zen, was great having you here, learning more about TaskFi. For our audience, make sure you guys do claim your oats. If you have listened in for at least 20 minutes, we do have 200 USD worth of USDT, which is actually sponsored by TaskFi. So if you do have an oat, you'll have a chance to win some USDT from that prize pool. Awesome. Thanks for everybody who joined. Thanks again for Zen. Thanks again for Harrison for joining and giving their insights as always. And we'll see you guys next week in our next weekly AMA. Thanks for joining, and bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thanks.